Our planet is an incredible source of beauty, as it has been since its conception billions of years ago. But today there's a conflict with the serene splendor. Humans are cutting away forests and destroying ecosystems to make room for Walmart supercenters and other commercial buildings. We are modifying our environment so much that we may have scarred our planet. Not only do these actions destroy the magnificence of our world and its wildlife, but they also have altered another system, one which has been stable for billions of years. Global warming. Global warming is the name for the process of increasing greenhouse gas levels in the atmosphere that increase the effects of the greenhouse effect. This is caused mainly by the atmosphere surrounding our Earth. Every second, sunbeams hurtle down from the sun towards the Earth. They pass through the atmosphere and then bounce off the Earth back towards space. Some of them pass back through the atmosphere into space, but some are held in the atmosphere by the layer of greenhouse gases. These help the incoming sunbeams heat the Earth. On average, this keeps the Earth about 33 degrees Celsius warmer. Although this process has been occurring naturally for billions of years, it has been sped up due to the increase of greenhouse gases emitted from our planet. Scientists have discovered ways to trace the amount of CO2 and the temperature from ice cores drilled into glaciers. This chart shows their results. After careful study, there are many relations between the CO2 concentration and the temperature, but there is one relation which is very simple yet profound, and that is that as CO2 concentrations rise, temperature increases. Today's CO2 concentrations are way above average. The CO2 concentration is the highest it has ever been in the past 400,000 years. It is currently 383 parts per million, which is considerably higher than any other point in our planet's history. And if the emissions rise at the same rate, the amount of CO2 is predicted to be around 700 parts per million by 2100. And if temperature increases as CO2 increases, we could be looking at a much warmer planet if this conflict is not resolved. Scientists think humans are the cause of this large increase because the CO2 concentration began to rapidly increase at the start of the Industrial Revolution, just when inventions such as the automobile and energies which involve the use of fossil fuels such as coal and natural gas hit Main Street. These resources are comprised of about 50 to 60% solid carbon, and since when 1 pound of carbon is burned, 3.67 pounds of CO2 are produced. Many pounds of CO2 are released daily per person. Some think that the increase means nothing, but since the large dips on the graph mean an ice age, and today's CO2 levels are almost 100 ppm over the natural highest point, the temperature is bound to rise to incredible levels, as the 10 hottest years on record occurred in the last 14 years, and the hottest of all was 2005. And as shown by recent events, the thermometer isn't the only thing that will change. Hurricane Katrina was one of the most deadly, destructive, and costly hurricanes in American history, and first hit land as a Category 2. But since hurricanes grow strength as they pass over warmer waters, and the Gulf of Mexico conveniently stood between the hurricane and land, Katrina grew to a Category 5, then hit New Orleans as a Category 3. 1,836 died from the hurricane, whose price tag exceeded $80 billion. Besides Katrina, 26 other storms pummeled the Atlantic that year, 9 of which became a Category 4 or 5 hurricane, making this the most active hurricane year in United States history. Besides influencing storms, temperature can have an effect directly. For example, the temperatures have begun to affect the world's glaciers. The thickness of the Arctic ice shelf has decreased by 40% in the last 40 to 50 years. In 2002, the Larsen B ice shelf in the South Pole lost 40% of its ice in about a month, a piece of ice the size of Rhode Island weighing in at 720 billion tons. The Grinnell Glacier in Glacier National Park has lost a significant part of its ice due to higher temperatures, and scientists predict that by 2070, the Glacier National Park will no longer live up to its name. As you can see, unless global warming is stopped, the CO2 concentration may rise. If this happens, the temperature should increase, possibly killing more than even the 35,000 in Europe. In future years, hurricanes as strong as Ivan and Katrina may appear as average storms, and new superstorms, such as the one portrayed in Robert Emmerich's The Day After Tomorrow, may be threatening our will to survive and the lifespan of our planet. Although we currently believe that humans are a major contributor to our planet's greenhouse gases, we are also in the best position to be the solution. From just raising the thermostat 2 degrees higher in the summer and 2 degrees lower in the winter to buying a hybrid car, everyone can contribute to the solution that may be in dire need. Many Americans are aware of global warming and the fact that CO2 is a major contributor, but few can go without their car, the third largest cause of CO2 emissions. By taking public transit like city buses and the subway, we can reduce our carbon footprint. If public transit is not an option, a new fuel-efficient car might be. Hybrids such as the Honda Civic get 40 miles to the gallon, compared to the average SUV, which is 25. Besides buying a new car, switching to new, more advanced light bulbs is a great way to conserve electricity. CFLs, or compact fluorescent lights, use 70% less energy than traditional incandescent bulbs and produce little heat. They save so much energy that if every American replaced 5 light bulbs with CFLs, it would do the equivalent of taking 10 billion cars off the road for a year. Recycling just half of our wastes instead of trashing them can save 2,400 pounds of CO2 emissions yearly. Reusing shopping bags and buying supplies with less packaging can reduce plastic in landfills and can cut your costs. Buying local foods and fresh foods can save a lot of energy because shipping is much less, and frozen foods use 10% more energy to create them fresh. New treaties such as the Kyoto Protocol are in effect today and are helping in our fight against global warming. The Kyoto Protocol is a treaty created by the United Nations that was introduced in '97. This treaty's objective is to achieve stabilization of greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere at a level that will prevent dangerous anthropogenic interference with the climate system. Even though the U.S. has not ratified toward the protocol, several cities are working toward reaching its high standards. Using solar power and wind power are also excellent ways to conserve energy and are affordable, and after a few years actually save you money through tax cuts and using less energy from your electrical company. The sun produces enough energy in 1 second to power everything on our planet for a year, if not more. If this can be harnessed, our finite amount of fossil fuels will not be a problem. The use of renewable energies is much more efficient than fossil fuels, and even hydroelectric. Solar panels produce no CO2 emissions, and with enough of them, we can capture enough energy from the sun to power most of our homes and businesses for an eventual lower cost. The upfront cost may be high, but when our finite resources are extinguished, the solar power will be all we need for a long time until more advances occur for futuristic energy sources. As this has shown, global warming is becoming apparent today. With CO2 levels rising drastically, our temperature will follow. Stronger storms are appearing and becoming more frequent. Although humans are currently the largest benefactor towards CO2 emissions, we are becoming the solution. We are harnessing solar power and wind energy, and in time they may replace fossil fuels as our largest energy source. If we all band together, we can stop this ever-increasing problem and save the serene beauty that is our Earth.